Should I look right into the camera?
I'm really
prepared.
So,
Is there a blooper reel? I really hope not. How many times are you going to say you're going to be great to every single person today?
You looking for your pen?
yeah.
There you go.
Interesting, right?
But I have no idea what I'm going to say, so give me a minute.
Okay, sorry. Do I just look straight?
It's like totally backward, right? It's like this is good for 30% of the population or whatever.
Cool. Should we do scrappiness first?
And it's one of the reasons I joined the firm in the first place. Scrappy means you get the job done.
When I think of scrappiness and I think of that sort of high autonomy, like low hierarchy piece, I think of the phrase, I trust you.
But as I dissected kind of the idea of what Scrappy is, to me it's a dual responsibility.
I'm continually impressed with our sourcing team's scrappiness.
Whether it's in finance, whether it's in our legal department, whether it's in our on-site team or our investment team, what we want is people that are actually going to see a problem and take the initiative to solve that problem.
Finding ways to be autonomous and also entrepreneurial.
Picking moments where there's a high degree of conviction that going outside of those established structures can actually drive the most impact.
Might not have worked out for me, but I got kind of lucky there. But I think that's what scrappiness is. It's doing something on a whim because you have a hunch deep down it's going to work out for us.
Scrappy means attacking complacency.
We don't have time to be as bureaucratic or as hierarchical as some other firms.
And was obviously a little nervous for that meeting, and the very first thing he says on the call is, Kamran, what do you think about this deal? Should we lean in? Very senior folks who've been investing in software companies for 25, 30 years, turning to the newest folks who are kind of fresh in this industry out of college and getting their opinions, but also valuing those opinions and really taking them into consideration, I think, is part of what makes Insight special.
As a result, we have to place our trust into every single employee.
And it doesn't matter what your role is or your title, there's no such thing as, hey, that's not my job.
So I think what we've done, and one of our values, is we've given people trust through this notion of scrappiness.
Hunger to win is a spirit.
I think it means being willing to go above and beyond.
Everyone can tell good stories on when deal teams go full court press on, a competitive deal, Project Solar. We recently had a full cross-team, cross-firm collaboration. And I think a lot of folks can tell stories like that are really inspiring. But for me, when I think about hunger to win, a lot of it is actually much more like compound interest. So it's all those little moments.
It's about sending that extra email.
We're always looking for ways to show that we have a winning mentality.
We have a huge team of sourcers, probably one of the largest, making sure that every stone is turned.
I think if you think back in the day, we really were kind of an underdog, but when you look around today, we don't really feel that way. And I think if you talk to people out in the world, they wouldn't really say Insight's an underdog, but even if we have sort of the right to win any deal we walk into, I don't think anybody really takes that for granted.
I think that's what makes Insight stand out.
When I was a very junior analyst, I think it was within my first year starting, I'd never spoken to Jeff Horing. Naturally, and many junior analysts, probably a little bit intimidated to talk to him. It was like 8:30 a.m. and I received an email from an entrepreneur I've been chasing with his pitch decks. I'll take a call, but I need it needs to be like today, and it needs to be with a partner. And I poked up from my cube. The only partner at that time in the morning was Jeff Horing. And so, walked up to his office and said, Jeff, I think I've got an amazing opportunity. Nice to meet you, by the way. My name is Thomas. Would you be willing to take a call? Here's the deck. And he said, yeah, let's get him on the phone. I always think back to that and just the firm-wide, from the most senior levels to the most junior levels, positioning Insight for a win.
Everything else we do is the how we do it. But the why we do it and the why I wake up in the morning is because I want to be part of a winning team.
It's infectious. Like any attitude, it's infectious. And when people around you want to win, and that makes us all better.
And it's palpable. You can feel it as you walk around the office.
A heart to me at Insight is kind of this consistency of always being people first.
To me, heart is all about having the willingness to go above and beyond, to do that extra small thing.
Looking beyond the financial components that we might get very stuck on in our day-to-day, and really thinking about the people component as well.
Being able to be your true self.
This was most on display when COVID hit in March 2020. There was an astounding effort from all levels of leadership at the firm.
Just the little things of, when you provide feedback to a founder, instead of just doing it over email, offering to call them and have a face-to-face conversation.
And I think it's those moments when you see people as people first that really exemplify what heart means.
I think that that's not a value that you see a lot of other firms and funds, especially in finance, emphasize.
This is kind of a personal story, but I actually tore my ACL playing soccer with Insight, and I ended up having to work from home before work from home was a thing. And I just remember Rachel Geller being incredibly conscientious. I was very worried about missing work, missing FaceTime. I was maybe 3 months into the job, and she just made me feel so comfortable, highlighting how much she appreciated the work that I was doing. And I was like, I work here, I'm supposed to do the work. But the sort of extra mile of making sure that I felt appreciated as a new employee really stuck with me.
The reality of working here is much more around those tiny interactions you have with people every day.
2020 Vision Capital, it's our fund of funds vehicle that invests in diverse emerging fund managers.
Through my involvement in it, I've seen how much heart individuals and colleagues within our organization have for this fund of funds.
And it's been such a success that we are now in Fund 2.
So that's an example of how I see heart here at Insight.
It's one of the reasons why I'm super grateful to work at this place.
I like to say that everything at Insight comes with an asterisk.
When I think about reinvention, I think about our industry and technology and innovation.
It's about finding ways to look at what we've done, what we've accomplished, and see how we can take that to the next level.
We see the commitment to reinvention across so many of the new initiatives we've done to position Insight not just as a VC firm or PE firm, but as a preeminent investing firm across all stages of a scale-up.
Thinking through, conferences like Scale Up AI, where we're able to, connect with the ecosystem.
From one day to another, you can find yourself looking at an early stage AI company that barely has any revenue, and in the same day, in the afternoon, look at a take private of a massive software company. The ability to look at such different problems and excel at both of those, to me, is what reinvention really means at Insight.
And we're still, to this day, looking for ways to reinvent how we operate, how we support the portfolio.
How do we continue to be the premier scale-up software investor?
I've been doing this for 25 years, and what keeps me excited is that we keep reinventing.
Having the space for reinvention is very empowering.
If we stand still, that we don't constantly and relentlessly reinvent how we do things, we'll stop winning the way we do.
Creativity is built into the ethos of how Insight operates. If we think about how we try to find all of the companies hidden under every rock and crevice, we find creative ways to not only find those companies, but also engage with them, invest with them, and help them scale up.
I'm about to use the definition, which is thinking outside the box.
Every single deal has its own nuance, and so it's thinking creatively, contextualizing those sort of different problems and really digging in that sort of brings the creativity to life.
For example, the first time we were looking at a company called Assembly AI, now a portfolio company, the CEO had recently had his first child. Rebecca took the time to think of what kind of gifts can we send him that'll make him smile. We sent a Hello World onesie written in Python.
And just naturally, a lot of bootstrap founders are a little bit more hesitant with taking institutional capital. He actually sent him an Insight value coin.
A coin that includes the values of Insight on it, kind of tying that to, I think, a LinkedIn post the founder had made about his values, and that actually resonated and got a response.
And so that was one way in which he was really creative.
I think when you see these kind of creative gestures and intense motivation on the part of other people on the team, it makes you want to kind of reflect on those values and embody them yourself.
The ability of our company to scale is limited only by the size of the technology market. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't see that slowing down anytime soon.
All right.
Awesome.
You are done.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much.